And with the primary election poll set to close soon, many voters are feeling not only a sense of deja vu, but a little dread leading up to November. According to a report by ThriveWorks, 31% of people say that political events such as primaries make them feel anxious. Google's search trend data also shows that there's been a spike in searches for anxiety and depression in the days leading up to elections. So joining us now is Kylie McGrath. She's a licensed therapist with ThriveWorks in Royal Oak. Thank you for being here with us.
First, thank you, Terrence.
Hey, we're glad to have you. The state of the country can be really stressful for a lot of people for a lot of different reasons. How would you say that can contribute to stress and anxiety?
Oh, I think there's so many reasons, right? The polarization we're seeing causes this sense of isolation, fear, disconnection. Um, and as we know, humans want to feel connected. So anytime that that is um, threatened, it heightens our sense of anxiety. And like you said, we're seeing the sense of deja vu, right? We're back in feeling like we're in 2020 with the presidential election. And this is our first time really back in a very similar situation. We are all kind of having that flashback to those experiences um, that we had. And obviously, that was a very isolating time of our lives with COVID and everything else, too. So we are totally going back to that mental state.
Yeah, you could say that again. 2020 was just hard for a lot of people for so many different reasons. Would you say it's common to see more people coming to you when they're experiencing these problems during an election season?
I would say so. I've had several clients bring it up. We are always getting new people in for a variety of different reasons. But I think when we look at the election, um, it spans so many different issues that bring up anxiety for us. And so, yes, we definitely see an increase.
Okay, and we know there's a lot of people with really strong feelings about both President Biden and former President Donald Trump. Again, many thinking that there could be another matchup this time around. How do politics have such a negative effect on mental health?
Like I said, that polarization and especially the divisiveness that we've seen, it is impacting these close relationships that we have now. And so, not only are these elections impacting this large scale countrywide issues, but we're also seeing that in our day to day relationships, your neighbors, your friends, your family, and really that fear around what am I going to step into next and who will I be talking to and what will we be talking about. Um, and so that we're right back into this. My friends can't even be trusted in this moment. And that feels really fearful and disconnected.
Yeah, you mentioned being divided. I know for a lot of folks, it was just so hard to even have basic conversations. Family dinners even got hard. What are some of the things that
Absolutely.
people can do, keeping all of that in mind moving forward, to just maintain a sense of calm?
Yeah. So obviously, with that, practicing boundary setting is going to be your biggest thing. Knowing what you can handle and what you can't is number one. I think focusing on what you can control at the end of the day, politics are a very large thing. Focus on what you can control. If that means getting out and volunteering, helping out, that's where you want to push your focus into. Um, and be mindful of your consumption. Know how much social media you're consuming, know who you're following and why you're following them, and monitor kind of the information intake because it can be really overwhelming for us. And then if you do get in a position where you are feeling extremely overwhelmed, practicing some of these grounding techniques and ways that you can bring your body back to a stable place.
Yeah, Kylie, I know the media is a great source of information. Personally, I'm a little biased. I push CBS Detroit to get your news, but that can also be very overwhelming, getting too much information and sometimes maybe the wrong information. Is that an area that you also suggest people maybe take into account how much they're consuming?
Absolutely, 100%. I mean, we consume so much information every day now because it's readily available, and the media is an amazing place to get new information and to continue to learn and grow. But also, we have to cap that. We can't be consuming all day, every day.
Okay, and then just again, you talked about setting boundaries, but we see a lot of arguments at this time of the year. Are there other things that people can do just to maybe say, I don't want to be part of this, even if it's at work, church, whatever the case?
Yeah, simply that. Set your boundaries. If it is going into a conversation that you're not comfortable with, say, I'm going to step away for a second. You guys can continue this conversation, but I'm going to go ahead and step away. Simple as that. Don't make it a big thing. Just excuse yourself.
And lastly, when does someone know whether or not they need to reach out to someone like you, a professional, to maybe talk out how they're feeling because of everything that's happening around them in this political season?
Yeah, I think, like you said, pretty biased, right? I think anybody can benefit from therapy, but in these specific situations, I think we're looking at losing sleep, increased irritability, unable to turn off some of the media or set those boundaries. When we are getting to that point where we're not able to kind of set those limits and control ourselves, it's probably time to seek out some extra support.
Okay, so once I start getting overwhelmed here, I'm going to tell them Kylie says I don't have to come to work today. So I'll keep that in mind.
Yes.
All right, thank you so much. Kylie McGrath with ThriveWorks. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.